Hello, moonbeams. Welcome back. Welcome back to my channel, Mystic Moon School. I am Donna and we are here to discuss the weekly moon signs and the aspects that Mama Moon will be making throughout the week. She moves so quickly. She moves through the entire zodiac each and every month. She's a very busy lady. And I am here each week to share with you the signs that the moon is moving through, what energies that is beaming down to us, how we can work with these energies in the most high vibrational, positive ways to feel empowered, right? And to grow. And why the moon? Why the moon? Well, my focus is on the moon because the moon is our most personal planet. It is our inner world, our emotional world, the stuff that most people don't ever see, but we feel. We're usually acutely aware, right, of how we are feeling. We may not always know where it's coming from, but we certainly are aware of how we're feeling in any given moment. And so by sharing with you the moon, the signs that she is moving through, and what those energies, how they translate to us on a personal level, it is my intention that this podcast is going to help you week after week to become more self-aware and more empowered in why you're feeling the things that you're feeling, and what are the ways that you can really maximize your growth and tap into your most empowered self and feel like you are living a life in alignment with what you truly want to experience. So we do have another big week, and this podcast is coming out on Sunday, August 4th, and this is the day of the new moon. Now, if you listened in last week, at the end of the podcast last week, I did talk about the new moon in Leo, and I want to talk about it more. And right after the new moon in Leo, Mercury will station retrograde, so I'm going to be talking about that. And then midweek on Thursday, we have the Lionsgate portal. And then I'm going to give you, in the context of all of this, okay, this week is really a bigger context of August as a whole. And so I really want you to be prepared for the month ahead. And I feel that this first week is so important. This is a foundational week where we are going to come back to center. And I'm going to explain everything and my viewpoint and why I'm interpreting it in this way. But I'm going to really focus on this new moon that we are kicking off today on Sunday, August 4th, how Venus is playing a part in this new moon in Leo, why that is so significant, how the North Node, our destined path forward, is extremely significant for this new moon in Leo, and also how the Mercury retrograde is going to impact us in light of this new moon in Leo. Because, right, if you've been listening to my videos for a little while now, I am sure that at some point I have said there are no coincidences, right? There is divine orchestration always in all the time, really. It's really just a matter of, are we tapped in? Are we at a vibration where we can see it and understand it? And so in light of that, there is no coincidence that we are having a new moon, a new beginning in the sign of Leo, which I'm going to unpack for you just in and of itself, those energies. And then the very next day, we have Mercury retrograde in Virgo. So a lot to unpack here. So if you would like to grab maybe you have a moon journal, maybe you have a weekly moon journal, and you want to tune in on Sundays to my podcast and kind of write through the week of what these energies are going to be, so you can be really, really clear-minded about what may be coming into your own personal experience this week. Okay, I hope you like this gorgeous lion with this magnificent kind of energy mandala right at this lion's third eye. I found this on Pinterest and I could not find who created this beautiful image, but it really spoke to me in terms of the Leo new moon. We're in Leo season. We're having the Lionsgate portal, and how we can really, really open up to these magnificent energies that, in my view, are all supporting us this week. Okay, so I hope you like that image. I love it. Alrighty. Had to have a little Mr. Gosling there. Oh, he's just yummy, isn't he? Hang in there, girl. Hey, girl, hang in there. It's just Mercury retrograde. I love it. So, yes, we are going to hang in there. We're hanging in there together, guys. And listen, when I get to the Mercury retrograde, I'm going to be real about it, but I am not afraid of Mercury retrogrades. I know what their higher purpose is, and I'm going to share that with you when we get there. Okay. So, but why not look at his beautiful eyes while we're listening, right? Love you, Ryan. Okay. All right. So Sunday, August 4th, we have this gorgeous Leo new moon at 12 degrees of Leo. And Leo is a fire sign, right? The fire signs are passionate and they are creative, inspiring. Yes, we can have a temper. As you know, I think I mentioned in last week's podcast that I'm a Leo sun. My birthday is actually August 3rd. So this Leo new moon is just it's just so beautiful for me personally, but I really feel that no matter where Leo is in your chart, this is a beautiful new beginning for you. Passionate, creative, romantic, and I'll talk to you more about what I mean when I say romantic. And Leo is about self-expression. Self-expression. Think of the majestic lion roaring. That loud, guttural roar coming from its soul. That is Leo energy. When you speak your truth from an open-hearted place, it's heartfelt self-expression, and it doesn't always have to come in words. Sometimes it can come through your art, through your word, writing, in some creative fashion, whatever that is for you. Maybe you love to knit or crochet. That is an incredible creative outlet. Maybe you like to cook or dance. Maybe you like to build things. In whatever ways that you have a creative outlet, that's where Leo lives. That is where that Leo energy lives, in your creativity. And Leo is also very much about your inner child, but not the wounded inner child. I like to focus with Leo energy that playful, imaginative, creative inner child, the one that just will find the fairies in the backyard, right? Or in the park, that can play imaginatively with their dolls or their trucks or whatever toys they have. That's the inner child that Leo can tap into, that playfulness, that fun. And Leo is also about romance. And romance certainly, of course, can be with another person, right? Romantic love, setting the mood, that kind of romance. But I would love to open you up to a wider understanding of romance and being able to live a romantic life. Because Leos, they know how to live a romantic life. They will make sure that they have the fresh flowers on the kitchen table, right? Or that when they're settling in for their nightly TV show, they light a couple of candles and turn out the lights so that they can watch, whatever their evening show is. Leos, want things to have a beautiful aesthetic, especially their home space. Or, even if you're just going out to do the food shopping, maybe you want to put on a little bit of makeup or just a nice shirt or a flowy summer dress if it's summertime. That's the type of romance that I'm talking about here in particular. Romanticizing your life. That is a Leo quality in the higher expressions. And so, there are so many different ways to do that, right? And it really makes life a little bit more fun, a little bit more playful. You can kind of really savor your experiences even more when you add a little bit of romance, even to the most mundane mundane experiences or activities that you have in a day. And so all of that is beautiful Leo energy. Leos are leaders as well. And so this Leo new moon is really really inviting us in a very supportive way, in a very motivating way to step into our own leadership now. And when I say that, I mean first and foremost as a leader in your own life. A leader in your own life. And the clock just hit 444. So that is confirmation for me that is one of the main messages here with this Leo new moon is, remember, new moons are the new cycle that is beginning. And so it's a new fire lit within you in your heart space, a new creative fire, a new beginning, a new birth within you of who you really want to be in your own life. How do you want to show up for yourself in your own life? And there are some really beautiful aspects happening with this Leo new moon that I'm going to get into next. And if you've been listening to me for a little while, you know that not every new moon or not every full moon has got these, really supportive or harmonious aspects. Sometimes it can be very challenging. This happens to be a really beautiful new moon in Leo. So the new moon is also getting great support from both Mars and Jupiter that are in Gemini. And I mean, within a few degrees, they're very, very closely aspecting this sextile with this new moon. And, remember, the new moons are when both the moon and the sun are together in the sky. The full moon is when they're across the sky from one another. But the new moon is when they come together. And so I like to think of it as we are receiving both the beautiful light codes from the sun that are strengthening our sense of self, our personality, our outward sense of self, but then the moon is beaming to us whatever the zodiac energies are, in this case Leo, to our heart space, to our emotional bodies. And so it's as within, so without, whenever we have a new moon. And so let me break down the sextile with Mars and Jupiter that are both together, very closely together in the sign of Gemini. So Gemini, right, is an air sign of the mind, our thoughts, our communications, how we think and our belief system, how we learn. And so Mars, right, is our planet of action and motivation and assertiveness. And Jupiter is the planet of blessings, right? Jupiter is the great beneficent planet that wants to expand everything, but usually in a very positive, optimistic way. Jupiter actually also represents our spirituality. And so, when we are able to expand our consciousness, when we are able to look at things from a very positive and expanding perspective, we're able to grow and expand ourselves. So the beautiful sun and moon together in the sign of Leo, right? This open-hearted, brave-hearted leader is getting really supportive energy from the planet Mars and the planet Jupiter. And Mars and Jupiter in Gemini are saying we are expanding and able now to take action on what we believe now, right, Gemini? What are our beliefs now? How have our beliefs expanded from what they once were? How is our consciousness expanding? And then how do we push that out into action in our lives, Mars, right? So Mars and Jupiter together in Gemini are like, okay, this is what we believe now in who we are as the leaders of our own lives. If you bring all of these energies together in that supportive sextile, which, sextiles are supportive and they want us to take a little bit of action. So I do feel that many of us out there with this Leo new moon, we are going to feel, and not only feel, right, because Leo is of the heart, so we will feel, but we will also be thinking and having clear thoughts about who we want to be as the leaders in our own life going forward. Now, this is going to be very, very important for the month ahead, and I will explain why in a little bit. But if you have no other intention with this new moon in Leo, let it be centering yourself in who you want to be as the leading lady or the leading man in your own life. The king or the queen of your own castle. Okay? This is the most important thing for this Leo new moon, for all of us to just take a little time to reflect on. This Leo new moon is trining the North Node in Aries, a fellow fire sign. And so Mars and Jupiter together in Gemini are working on our mind space, our mental energy, helping us to have clarity on who we are now, who we are as the leader of our own lives, and taking steps forward on our destined path ahead, the North Node. Now remember, the North Node is in Aries. Aries is all about the self, the independent self, living life on your own terms, being able to trust oneself, to really lean on yourself as opposed to leaning on somebody else, right? That is what Aries, healthy Aries, is all about. Advocating for oneself, expressing oneself. And so with this Leo new moon, right, this new cycle of who am I now as the leader of my own life? Trining, which is that beautiful harmonious aspect with the North Node in Aries. Who am I moving forward on my destined path ahead towards my future self? And Mars and Jupiter are giving us real support in having the clarity around who we are and how we want to move forward, and then just feeling really positively expansive about that now. So this, like I was saying, is just really beautiful energy that this new moon in Leo is meeting with some of the other points and planets in the sky at the time of this new moon. I also want to say that while Mars is making a beautiful sextile to the Leo new moon, Mars is also trining the North Node. So the sun and the moon on one hand are trining the North Node in Aries, and then Mars over in Gemini is also trining the North Node. And so there is just so much positive energy kind of putting its hand on our back gently and in a very encouraging way, moving us forward on our path ahead. Now, there is something else I would like to speak about at this new moon, at the exact time of the new moon. Venus, the planet of love, the planet of self-love, the planet of our self-worth and our value. Also, of course, the planet of romantic love and our relationships, all relationships, and what we value in life. Venus is going to be at 29 degrees of Leo. So the sun and the moon are back at 12 degrees of Leo, and now Venus is in her final degree of Leo. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I did a podcast that just got incredible amount of views and really resonated with so many people. And that was when I spoke about the Capricorn full moon at 29 degrees and how important that 29 degree point is in any chart, let alone a full moon or a new moon chart. Now, I'm not talking about, right, the new moon being at 29 degrees, but I am talking about Venus being at 29 degrees. And when she hits that 29 degree point in Leo, this is kind of a big moment. First of all, she will be making an exact quincunx to Neptune in Pisces. Now, a quincunx is a lesser aspect according to the ancients of astrology, but it is still notable. And it is an aspect of tension. And so while the new moon itself is making incredible aspects, very, very supportive and harmonious, into us being the leaders of our own life, Venus, how we relate to others, our self-worth, our relationships, is having a bit of a crisis moment. And she is also making a square to Uranus. Now, Uranus is the planet of awakening. Sometimes can be shocking news, shocking realizations. And when Venus is making a square, right, which is usually an aspect that wants us to take some action. And, when it's with Uranus, it can be impulsive. It can be erratic. And so you may be on the receiving end of that from someone else in your experience, in your world, or you may be feeling like you want to take some immediate action on something something in your relationships, something to do perhaps with your self-worth. Whatever it is for you, of course, trust whatever it is for you. If it feels right for you, if it's something that has been kind of on your mind and on your heart, and you just feel like it's time, then go for it. But if it seems like it's coming out of the blue, you may want to sit on it overnight and just reflect on it. And I'm going to get into that word reflect in just a few more minutes, but I do want to say that Venus is also making a very supportive aspect with Chiron, the wounded healer. Now, as I spoke about in last week's podcast, that's been happening all week. Okay, this is not just when Venus hits 29 degrees. In fact, she's been moving towards it all last week. Really supportive energy with Chiron. And so just trust that at the new moon, if you are feeling like you are complete with something, you are done. Remember, 29 degrees can feel like a completion. It is the last degree that in every sign. 29 degrees, that's as far as we can go. And so if you feel like you have hit the limit, you've gone as far as you can go, in some relational experience in your life, whether that's a relationship with a person, a relationship with a habit, a relationship with a system or a structure, a relationship with the way you may be thinking about something, right? Or the way you may be speaking, communicating in a certain way. It doesn't always have to be with another person. Trust whatever it is for you, okay? And if you feel like, you know what, I'm just done with this XYZ, then trust that and say, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on to a better way of relating, whether it's with this person or this thing. And I may or may not have complete clarity on that, but I know I'm done with something for sure. And if you are, then maybe you want to write about that and open yourself up with the Leo new moon to, again, being that leader in your life, right? That open-hearted leader, that brave-hearted, creative leader. Perhaps you're going to open up to new creative ways of relating to others or to whatever that thing is that you're done with. All of these energies on Sunday really are going to continue into Monday, August 5th. And we are going to be experiencing then Mercury stationing retrograde. So Mercury really moving now officially into the retrograde phase that will last for about 3 weeks, really most of the month, okay? Because Mercury will not be going direct until August 28th. And before it goes direct, this Mercury retrograde is going to be retrograding back into Virgo to begin with, and then into Leo before it starts to station and then move forward again. And so this is going to be extremely dynamic, and I'm going to break that down for you even more. But I just want to wrap up the new moon in Leo because on Monday, the moon in Leo is then going to be, I feel that it's really going to feel very healing. That heart energy, the Leo heart energy, making that beautiful trine both to the North Node, but then also going to be trining Chiron. And I feel that it's not going to be a hard feeling. It's not going to be going into the wounding. It's really going to be more about feeling that healed sense of self that you are now. You know, I would say pretty much everyone listening to this podcast has been on a real accelerated growth journey the past several years. And so this new moon in Leo is really the beginnings of who you are now and who you are as this new leader of your own life because of all the healing work that you've been doing. You know, when we are able to show up as a healed version of ourselves, boy, oh boy, that changes everything. That changes the dynamics with the other people that we engage with. It changes our experiences on a day-to-day, right? Because when we are engaging with life from a more healed version of ourselves, everything shifts. Our whole vibration shifts. And so all of our experiences will then shift to align with this new version of us. And so I do feel that we're still going to be feeling good into Monday, even though Mercury is going to be officially moving retrograde. Now, I think what I want to say about that is I'd like to break down this retrograde, at least for the first week, okay? Each week, it's going to be really dynamic this whole month. There's going to be so much changing around us, okay, in the month of August. So really what I want us to focus on is staying centered within ourselves. You are your own compass. You are that lighthouse that doesn't run around shining light to all of the ships out in the sea. You just stay put and you shine your light out. And when the ships come in your path, then they will receive your light and then they will move on. Okay? So we just need to stay grounded and centered in our own light, in our own leadership. In our own leadership. So the Mercury retrograde, yes, as always, we're going to experience the glitchy, techie stuff, the delays in travel, the traffic, maybe the issues with our electronics and our vehicles. That stuff does happen. And quite honestly, it's been happening for the past couple of weeks. I mean, I've been noticing it like crazy glitches, crazy weird things happening with my tech, with my GPS, like all the things, right? Miscommunications with other people. So all of these things are going to happen. Yes, I'm not denying that. But I don't want us, number one, to fear that, and number two, to put all of our focus and energy on that. Because while that stuff does happen, that's not really where our focus should be when it comes to Mercury retrogrades. And this one in particular, okay, Mercury retrograde in Virgo, at least this first week, okay? The first 2 weeks, really. But Virgo is ruled by Mercury, okay? Virgo is actually co-ruled by Mercury and Chiron. And so I am going to touch upon that as well. And honestly, I haven't really heard, I have a few astrologers that I listen to and that I follow and I learn from. I mean, I'll always be learning astrology for the rest of my life. And that's actually one of the things that I love so much about it, because it's so rich and it's so deep and it's actually ever evolving as well. But I haven't really seen any astrologers talking about the healing aspect of this Mercury retrograde. And you can't really, in my view, I can't skip over that, because Virgo in her highest form is the healer. And that is always what I teach in moon school. All my moon sisters have heard me say that many times. And so if we take a look at the opportunities for growth for every Mercury retrograde, it's going to be reflection. It's going to be reconsidering, perhaps redoing something. It's going to be reconnecting, reviewing. It's all of the RE words. And so whatever RE words come up for you, perhaps that is going to be uniquely for you to focus on and concentrate on for this Mercury retrograde. Now, what I will tell you is that the Mercury retrograde is not the only reason why the month of August is such changeable and mutable energy. There are other major things happening this month that I will get to each week of the month, but I'm just laying the groundwork for you now in this first week of August that everything this month is going to be topsy-turvy, changeable. One of the main words that I would like for you to consider for this month is adaptability. And if you would like to apply that to the Leo new moon and you as the leader in your own life, how can you as a leader of your own life be adaptable when change is thrust upon you? That would be a fantastic question to write down at the new moon and to revisit as the month moves on. As the month changes. Hi, Bailey. Bailey just jumped up on my desk. I don't know if you heard that. But as everything seems to swirl around us this month and seems to change, how can you remain in your own center? How can you be an adaptable leader in your own life? That is a key question that we can revisit time and again this month. You know, it's funny. Have you ever seen, I don't know what these things are called, but like it's a wobbly board, okay? And it's used like in gyms and workouts, and it's to help you with your core and also your balance. And so if you can picture yourself right now, just for a moment, if you can just close your eyes just for a moment and picture yourself trying to stand on one of those wobble boards, okay, where it's a square, but there's like a spring underneath it. And so when you step on this wobble board, it is just rapidly moving back and forth and all around. And it is very difficult for you to even stand on this board without falling off. Another image that is coming to my mind, if you do yoga, if you can do a tree pose, right? Where you are standing on one leg and your other leg, your other foot, the bottom of that foot is resting either around your calf or maybe your thigh of the standing leg. And you are bringing your hands into a prayer pose at your heart space. That is what I want you to picture yourself as during the month of August 2024. Okay, so the image is to help you evoke this feeling that you, despite the wobble board, despite the winds of change that are all around you, you can be centered and grounded in yourself. Centered and grounded within yourself. And what that really means is that you do not let your mind and your heart space be thrown every which way depending on what is happening around you in your world or on the world stage. Because of course we're going to see this playing out on the world stage. Here in the US, we're going to have the Democratic National Convention. That is going to be a circus, folks. Okay? I really feel like, how is it that politicians do not have astrologers helping guide them to the most auspicious days, right? In fact, actually, I don't know if anybody knows this, but Ronald Reagan, really Nancy Reagan, had an astrologer in the White House that they always consulted. So anyway, I know I'm diverting here, but it's going to be a circus, okay? So just expect it. Just expect it and get your popcorn, and don't allow the crazy changes, this mutable energy that's going to play out later on in the month, the Mercury retrograde. Don't let all of these energies push you about and pull you, and like you're caught in the winds. Don't allow it. Okay? How can you be an adaptable leader in your own life? Now, that doesn't mean that adaptable doesn't mean like you need to be a chameleon and change every time, the color changes. What it means is, how do you stay centered in who you truly are, what your values are, and what is important for you, but then adapt with grace based on what is being presented in front of you now. So I don't want anyone to get too attached to outcomes this week. If something comes in and it seems really exciting and you're excited about it and it looks really good, please just take it with a grain of salt. It may change. If something comes in and it seems very challenging, don't drop into despair, because it may change. Change is really the name of the game this month. So, this Mercury retrograde in Virgo. Mercury rules Virgo. Virgo is a grounded earth energy, and Virgo wants things to be organized, tidied up, nice routines, right? Everyday routines. But when Mercury is retrograding, it's asking us to think about things in a reflective way, to review things a little bit, to say, is everything really working to the best of its ability in my everyday routines, in my tasks that I need to complete every day, in the systems and the structures that I've built for my life. Do a little review. Maybe there's some decluttering that can happen now during this Mercury retrograde for you. Maybe you can revisit some things that you've set up and really do an evaluation, or perhaps a reevaluation. Is this really working for me? Or are there some tweaks that I can make? And maybe you don't want to make the changes until the end of the month, when Leo becomes part of that retrograde, right? And so Mercury is going to go through Virgo, wanting to tidy everything up, checking all the boxes, reorganizing things. But just know that Mercury is also going to move through the sign of Leo into our heart space. So don't make any irrevocable changes. Just consider them. Okay? Write them down, reflect on them, review them, maybe write out a little plan, but don't make any solid, irrevocable changes until Mercury moves forward again after the 28th of August, maybe even into the beginning of September. Okay? So just please keep that in mind. These changes could also be coming from your world, asking you to make some changes. And you may or may not be able to put those things off. So if you are being asked to make decisions, to make changes in your world, in your life, and you can give yourself a little reflection time, then do that. Because you may not have complete clarity when Mercury is in a retrograde phase. You may be feeling like things that you thought were set in place, and you're like, okay, yes, this feels nice and organized to me. This is a good routine for me. It may feel like all of a sudden it's not working. Just trust whatever is coming up for you and try to be reflective about it and review it as objectively as you possibly can. Because what I will say is that, remember, Virgo in her highest expression is the healer, the sovereign maiden who doesn't really need anyone else's help. Okay, she's got it. Like she can do all the things for herself, and it's in a healthy way. It's not in a hyper independence where it's like, oh, screw everybody else. I don't need anybody else. I can do this on my own. You know, it's really in a healthier expression of like, yeah, I'm feeling autonomous, and I'm loving my own sovereignty, and I'm loving, you know, this ability that, you know, I can make these decisions on my own, and it feels really good to trust my intuition. You know, I always say Virgo rules, right? Virgo rules the gut. Virgo rules our digestive system and the gut, and that is where our intuition lies, right? It is the brain-gut connection. We feel the feeling in our gut. So trust what may be coming back up for you, because we do revisit things from the past during a Mercury retrograde. And it's not, you know, everyone out there that like pops like astrology, like they want to like make things drama, right? And they want to be like, oh, Mercury retrograde, like your ex is going to come back, and don't entertain that. You know what? Why not? Why not entertain it if you feel like something is unresolved? If you feel like some beauty and healing and grace can come of it. Just trust your own intuition, okay? Trust what feels right for you. Don't do anything impulsively, but listen to your own gut. Listen to your own inner maiden, that she trusts herself and her ability to make decisions for herself. The moon is then going to move into Virgo on Tuesday, and she's going to be conjunct both Venus and Mercury, who are also already now in Virgo. And so now we have the moon and Venus and Mercury retrograde all in Virgo. And again, I am really feeling like this is that sovereign maiden energy. And even if you're a man listening to this, guess what? You have divine feminine energies within you, right? Are you open to receiving your intuitive voice? That would be a great question to ask yourself on Tuesday. And if your inner voice is speaking to you, are you listening? Are you trusting? Because the intuitive voice is a little bit softer than the ego, right? So we have to listen. We have to listen, and we have to trust that feeling that is coming through. So the moon is going to stay in Virgo on Wednesday the 7th. And on the 7th, the moon is going to be making a challenging aspect to Chiron. And so this can feel tender. It can also feel like you perhaps are maybe having some nostalgia, some memories that feel a little tender, because remember, it's a Mercury retrograde now. And if the moon is making a challenging aspect to Chiron, the wounded healer, we could be kind of reviewing past relationship stuff. Or if not relationship stuff, just how we felt in certain situations that were painful. You know, this does not always have to be a one-on-one relationship. It could be like a work situation. It could just be a group dynamic. It could be anything. Just trust what comes up for you. on this day, on Wednesday. And I will also say that Mercury retrograding is also going to be conjunct Venus in Virgo on Wednesday. So when we're having that really reflective energy, that introspective energy, we may feel like we want to reach out to that person that we're thinking about. And that's okay as long as you don't have any expectations. If you feel that it will be healing for you to bring some closure, to bring some healing, some forgiveness, some grace to your own inner vibration, your own energy, then go for it. As long as you don't have any expectation of that other person or that situation, then I think you're safe to reach out and say whatever it is that you feel you need to say, as long as it's coming from a heartfelt place and a place of kindness and compassion. I would never want you to give kindness and compassion to someone who, if you're compromising that kindness and compassion for yourself first. So as long as you are not abandoning yourself, then you can extend kindness and compassion to another. I hope that makes sense. Now, on Thursday is a big day. It is the official portal of the Lion's Gate. Now, the Lion's Gate energy we've been in, it's already been growing and expanding for us. I spoke about it last week, and around the 26th, 27th, 28th is when the Lion's Gate opens, and it doesn't really close until the 12th of August. But it peaks, and it hits this beautiful, perfect alignment on August 8th, the 8-8 portal. And I don't want to get totally into the Lion's Gate and what it means, but it is an alignment of our sun, which is in the sign of Leo, Orion's belt, Sirius, which is our spiritual sun, and they all come into alignment, perfect alignment, on the 8-8 date, on August 8th. And the same day of this August 8th Lionsgate portal, the moon is in Libra, the sign of relationships, and is going to be conjunct exactly with our south node in Libra. The south node is all about what we are letting go of, what we are complete with, what we are done with. Especially in the sign of Libra, it is showing up in our relationships and our relational dynamics with others. So this, to me, is an extraordinary opportunity to open up to the spiritual wisdom, the light codes that the sun is beaming down to us on this 8-8 portal day. If you can go outside, even if it is cloudy where you are, if you can go outside and just pay homage to the sun, be open to receiving all of the spiritual downloads, the wisdom, the love from the divine that is being transmitted to us on this day, I guarantee that you will receive some epiphany, some download, some connection point, something that you've never seen before or realized before. If you open yourself up to this, if you are able to face the sun wherever it is in your sky and open up your heart space to receiving these beautiful energies from our spiritual sun, you are going to expand. You are going to open up your consciousness even more. You're going to up level. That is what is on offer to us at the Lionsgate portal every single year. You know, the sun is going to be at 16 degrees in Leo and is going to be making a gorgeous sextile to Jupiter in Gemini. This is an expansion of self. This is an expansion of your consciousness. Gemini is the air, is the mind, right? Gemini is your belief systems and how you think and how you learn and how you can expand your consciousness. It is how you can expand all forms of communication. And I talked about this probably, I don't even remember now when Jupiter moved into Gemini. I believe it was in May. I talked about this in my podcast then, that we are opening up our ability to communicate telepathically, to hearing and trusting our intuition more. Our intuition is becoming stronger while Jupiter is in Gemini. And so while Jupiter in Gemini is sextiling the sun in Leo on this Lionsgate portal, oh my goodness, we are opening up to expanded consciousness, expanded telepathy, expanded intuition. Our psychic gifts are getting stronger. And so if you are open to that, you can set that intention on this beautiful Lionsgate portal day on Thursday. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful energy, and I would love for you to really tap into it and see how you're ready to expand now. I love to do sun salutations, which is a sequence of yoga poses. You can just go on YouTube and find that if you've never done that before, but I love to do sun salutations. I like to do 8 of them on the 8-8 portal. You know, the number 8 also in numerology is, it brings forth the energy of infinity, of infinite potentials, infinite abundance. 8 is the number of abundance. And so open yourself up to receiving just the most beautiful, abundant energies in love, in peace, in expanded consciousness, in wisdom, in wealth of all kinds, financial wealth. If that is what you are wanting, open yourself up to it and feel that you are deserving to receive it. Feel that you are truly deserving to receive all the abundance that our divine higher self wants us to have, to experience, to share. You must believe that you are deserving of these energies if it is going to flow into your experience. Okay, so I'm wishing you a beautiful Lionsgate portal on this day. Even if you are working on this day, if you can get out on your lunch hour and just put your face up to the sun, open up your third eye, open up your heart and your crown chakra, and really be open to receiving all that your higher self wants to beam down to you on this beautiful day. Okay, so then the moon continues on into Libra, but now on Friday, she is moving away and past the south node. So it is as if she is gracefully, beautifully in Libra, a very aesthetic sign, a very beautiful sign, walking away from what no longer serves her with grace. With grace. I also feel that we are walking away from people pleasing, from overgiving, of abandoning ourselves for another in a dynamic, in a situation, a group, in a relationship. this is what we are releasing and letting go of. And when the moon is in Libra, making that conjunction to the South Node and then moving past the South Node and moving beyond this, we are moving away from all of those lower expressions of Libra where we compromise ourselves for the other and whatever the other is for you. The moon is going to remain in Libra all day Saturday until around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so, really, it is really, again, as I said at the beginning of the episode, centering in your sense of self. Okay? Libra in the highest expressions wants balance, wants fairness. And that does not mean, right, that we are sacrificing self to please another. No, it means that there's a win-win for all involved. And so on Saturday, maybe you are getting clarity on how can this be a win-win for all involved, where it's not just the other person winning, it's not just me winning. We can all walk away from this situation having grown, having some new insights and some new wisdom and some new strong sense of self. And if you ask that question and open up to those potentialities, I believe that you will find them. Now, the week is going to end with the moon really Saturday evening moving into Scorpio and squaring Pluto. And so that can feel deep. That can feel like some truths are being unearthed. Perhaps things that have been hidden for quite a while, whether it's within yourself or within a relationship or a situation. And so if some new truth is being revealed to you, sit with that and ask if it feels uncomfortable. Ask how it's asking you to evolve, to grow. Because Pluto doesn't want us to just unearth painful things. Pluto wants us ultimately to evolve. And when the moon is in Scorpio, Scorpio is a water sign, and so we feel, and we feel deeply with Scorpio. We may not be ready to share with another, though, about what we're feeling when the moon is in Scorpio. Scorpio tends to keep things to oneself. And so you may be feeling like there's some truth that you are just really clear about now, and you may want to keep that close to your chest, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. You need to trust yourself and what feels right for you right now in this moment. And so on Sunday, with the moon in Scorpio, while she's feeling deeply, she's going to be also having a very supportive aspect to Venus in Virgo. And so the moon is in Scorpio, a feminine water sign, and Venus is in Virgo, a feminine earth sign. So what I would ask of you on Sunday is whatever truths you are feeling, whatever you're feeling within you on Sunday, allow yourself to be grounded. Allow yourself to feel all of the things. Don't push it away. And ask how this may be evolving you or helping to evolve you on your path forward. You don't necessarily need to take any action right now on Sunday. Okay, remember I told you lots of things are going to be changing this month. So be your own heart-centered leader. Take care of yourself. That's what I want you to do more than anything. this week and really this whole month, you are your center. You are the most important aspect of your life that you need to consider in the month ahead, because when everything is changing around you, the only thing that we can actually feel grounded in and perhaps control is our reaction to these things that are changing, right? We've all heard that before, but it is very true. And so the more grounded you can be in yourself and whatever grounding activities you have, whether that is walking on the earth and the grass on the sandy beaches, sitting in a park so that you can ground into Mother Earth, doing any sort of breath work that helps you come into your core and your center, doing a solar plexus and a lower, I would even say the lower chakras, the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root chakra, doing a meditation, finding one on YouTube for free. If you're really feeling trouble grounding and feeling centered, focus on your core, your solar plexus chakra, and your root chakra, helping you ground into the earth. And focus on those and really aligning them together so that you can feel more grounded, more centered in yourself, in what you need now, in what clarity is coming to you now. It doesn't mean you need to take action in this moment. You can observe, you can take note, you can write it down, you can reflect. We don't always have to take action when we have new realizations and new clarity. Now, I won't say don't take action, but I would just say you don't have to take action immediately. You can sit with things and you can mull them over, you can sleep on it, you can reflect, you can journal. Remember, the whole month is going to be a lot of changes and a lot of things happening around you that are changing. You don't need to take action on each and every one of them. So I'm just putting that forth. I know I keep repeating it, but this first month is really important. This first week is really important with this new moon in Leo to get centered and grounded in self. Okay? As you can see this beautiful picture of the moon moving through her phases, we're going to be moving through a lot this month. We're going to see everything changing around us, but we are centered in self. We can weather any changes. We can be the adaptable leader of our own life. And we don't always have to adapt in every given moment. We can sit on it and we can contemplate how we're going to adapt. And in what timing do we need to adapt? The timing will be important as well. So trust your own intuition again. So overall, though, I want to say, I think with the Leo new moon being so beautifully aspected and the Lionsgate portal on Thursday, this is some exceptionally beautiful energy this week where you are really stepping into that brave-hearted leader of your own life. You are stepping into that new centered sense of self. And guess what? You are divinely guided and supported and loved. Open up to receiving all of those new spiritual downloads on Thursday, because this is all part of it. And tap into the reflective quality of the Mercury retrograde, because if things are getting delayed or glitchy, then all that means is that we just need to slow down and take it in stride. Come back to center, reflect, maybe take a rest, maybe take a nap, maybe go out and buy yourself flowers or some delicious chocolate. Whatever it is that feels good to you this week, be playful, be romantic, be creative. I'm wishing you a gorgeous week ahead. I can't wait to hear how it plays out for you guys. I love connecting with you in that way. It feels so real for me than just, talking into a mic. So that I really do love your comments when you share with me how these energies show up in your life. And I want to thank you, thank you, thank you for listening, for sharing your time with me, and for doing the inner work. This is really how we are all creating a new earth together, starting with self first. So I'm wishing you a beautiful Leo new moon, a beautiful Lionsgate portal, a beautiful week ahead, and I will see you all soon under the moon. Bye-bye for now.